Hey, all right, it's Bruce. I'm back. Just time for a quick little chat before the day's over. It's Monday evening here, a little chilly. Snow stopped, so that's good, I guess. Had a good weekend, got some yard work done. A few days ago, we were talking about guitar modifications and how taking something from the factory that can be rather mundane and ordinary, and then putting your own personal touch on it through modifications with aftermarket parts. You can dress it up, fix it up, and kind of put your own personal style on things. Customize something the way you want it to work, whether we're talking guitars, bikes, cars, or the topic of today's discussion, which is firearms modifications. Aftermarket firearms parts is a huge industry. There's all kinds of ways you can buy a factory firearm and dress it up, do all kinds of things to it. This video isn't really about like cool modifications that you should do, so much as this video will be about modifications that you shouldn't do. And I'm going to fall back on the old saying that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that is very applicable to the firearm of the day, which is this venerable piece of firearms history, the SKS Rifle. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There are a lot of modifications you can do in an SKS, and we'll talk about those in a second. What is the SKS? The SKS is the abbreviations for some long, hard to pronounce Russian phrase, which basically means self-loading carbine of the system Simonov, designed in 1943 by Sergei Simonov. 1943, this gun was designed. I believe the Russians started producing them first around 1945. We know what firearm came along in 1947, so the SKS, as revolutionary and as well a designed gun as it is, was sort of rendered obsolete within a couple of years when the AK-47 came along. But despite that obsolescence and how it, the technology was, surpassed by the AK-47, the SKS continued to be produced in several countries. It's been used, dozens of decades after that. Dozens of conflicts, dozens of militaries around the world have used the SKS. It's a gas-operated, gas piston operated semi-automatic rifle, spring-loaded bolt carrier. Here, it's a pretty basic design, pretty primitive when we think about the guns of that era. It's pretty basic. The gun ships with a box magazine, a fixed 10-round box magazine, which kind of goes in here like this. It's removed for a reason, getting to the accessories discussion we're going to have later. So I have removed this box magazine. Before we go any further, yes, I did check to make sure there's no magazine in here. There's no round in the chamber. The gun's on safes. Couldn't fire even if I wanted it to right now. So safety first. With the SKS, when you talk about modifying it, this version here is obviously the Yugoslavian M5966. It's got this little piece up here where you can attach a grenade launcher onto it. Comes in handy if you got some grenades you need launching, I guess. Someone makes an aftermarket golf ball grenade launcher. You put the grenade launcher on there. You flick this little switch here, which shuts off the gas tube. So it functions as a bolt-action rifle with a golf ball launcher on it. So can't believe I haven't bought one of those yet. I've owned this for quite a while, and I haven't bought the golf ball grenade launcher attachment for it yet. So real quick, I took the magazine out because I wanted to address what you should and shouldn't do when modifying one of these. You can go online and you can order all kinds of plastic stocks with you get a collapsible stock on this end. You can get your foregrips. You can tactical the shit out of this thing. But it's still an SKS rifle. You're gonna look kind of like a dork, I think, when you try to trick it all out like that. As far as what modifications you should do on this, there's only one modification I recommend with the SKS rifle, and that involves popping out that detachable box magazine underneath and purchasing the Tapco 20-round magazine. from here down, it looks pretty much like a standard polymer AK-47 magazine, with the exception of the duckbill here, which is notched, so it fits into the same notch in the receiver as the detachable box magazine. So now we have a detachable magazine, 20 rounds versus 10. I have had no problem with reliability with the Tapco mags. They're extremely reliable, I think. They get mixed opinions, and I'm going to address one of the problems that people have with the Tapco mags. And hopefully, if you decide to get the Tapco mags, you won't have that problem. Once you pull out the box mag, the Tapco, the 20 round mag, finds the notch and just clicks in place like that. So it's not like a huge 30 round magazine that comes off the bottom of an AK. It's relatively small compared to some, but it's got it just looks great on this gun. Feeding issues, I have had no feeding issues once I learned the secret about making sure you don't have any feeding issues with one of these. What happens with a lot of people when they try to put in the Tapco mag, they get the notch lined up. There's a little pin that goes across in the receiver there, and then that little notch right there kind of pivots on that. And then when they go to rotate the magazine into the gun, you can hear that. The magazine starts to rub on the wood of the opening of the mag well there where the magazine goes in. And when you put that magazine in, if that's rubbing too much, if it's pinching the magazine too much, what happens is the follower that's on the spring in the magazine is unable to go all the way up to get that next round in the proper location. And then when your bolt comes forward to load the next round, to chamber the next round, it's lower than it should be, and you end up kind of smacking that round. You're missing, it misses the chamber. You just it kind of smacks it right there, and you jam up and it doesn't load. But that's what happens and that is purely because the receiver is getting pinched. It's a plastic magazine. It's kind of flexible, and that little pinch prevents the follower from going up all the way. So the solution to that, and if you take one of these apart, you know that the metal of the receiver holds the magazine entirely. There's nothing on the wooden stock that has to touch either magazine, the box magazine or the Tapco magazine. So when you go to insert the magazine, if this opening is too narrow for the Tapco magazine, which is a little bit wider than your box magazine, which is a thinner metal wall on it, then there could be some excess wood in there. And if you don't mind removing some of that wood, don't get your Dremel out and go crazy on it. You'll wear a hole right through the side of it. But if you just shave off just enough wood from the inside so that you're not forcing that in, you're not pinching the magazine, and that follower is not getting pinched, these run great. The best way, or one of the tricks I found to figure out where and how much wood to remove, is if you put this in, you get this loaded in. Of course, now it's not loading in. You get the magazine in. If you take a pencil, make a pencil line right here, and then flip it over and make a pencil line right there at the bottom of the stock, right on that edge there. And you make that pencil line there, and then what you can do is you can remove the magazine, and then everything above that pencil line, color it in with a pencil. So you get like a gray, just color it, shade it in with a pencil. And by doing that, when you then go to put it back in, you push it back in, and then you take it out. That didn't click in all the way, but you put the mag in, and then you take the magazine out. Where it pinches, that pencil mark will transfer to the inside of your stock. I think I just took 100 grit sandpaper on my finger, and I just rubbed and rubbed and rubbed. You really don't have to take off a lot, but that's the key to making your Tapco 20 round magazines fit in your SKS. I've never had, once I figured that out, I've never had any trouble with the Tapco mags. And I really think that's the only modification you should do on this particular rifle. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my thoughts on it. If you don't have an SKS, you should definitely pick one up. They used to be super cheap. This used to be a $70 gun. You buy a case of 10 of them for $700. I picked this up quite a while ago. Paid $135 for it. That's considered cheap now. Everything's gone up, obviously. But if you can get yourself one, just a great gun to have around. Reliable, heavy as shit too. You run out of ammo, you can club someone with this. They won't know what hit them. Anyways, that's my talk today. That's the SKS Rifle. Pick one up. All right, cheers. Bye.